Draft Bros.
What's crack-a-lackin', and welcome back to the Draft Bros. Alex, we're talking about the defensive hog mollies today, giving them the respect they do. And we got a good class, dude. We got a good class.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be talking about our top 5, and then we're going to talk about some of the guys at the end of the video. I'm really excited. I'm so excited that I just want to sit here and take it in. I want you to tell me your number 5, but first, hit that thumbs up.
Hit the subscribe button too while you're at it. You might as well hit multiple buttons.
That's
you
right,
can even comment something.
Sure.
It all helps us.
Alex, you're pressing all the right buttons, my friend.
Exactly. So you should be pressing them too. Regardless, the only reason I'm not excited about this is because I feel so bad about only talking about 5 plus honorable mentions, because I love way more than just 5 of these guys.
We'll see how
find a
long
way.
the video goes. We might end up talking about a lot of guys.
3 hours later.
Is that SpongeBob meme? 3 hours later.
So, beginning with my number 5. But yes, beginning with my number 5, I have McKinley Jackson.
Oh no! I thought we were gonna get into that guy at the honorable mentions, because wasn't this the guy I discorded you about?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm going
Maybe
to check
I
Discord right now.
Are we gonna check the receipts already?
Yeah, you get to talking. I'll let you know.
Okay, yeah, you check the receipts while we at it.
There's a search feature,
McKinley
right?
Jackson, 6'2", 325 pounds. I have comped him to a bigger but slightly worse Kalijah Cansey. He is a gap penetrator. He's a big dude. He has some good power to him. But I feel like his specialty is actually taking advantage of when the interior offensive line gives him a little bit of some extra space, a little bit of breathing room. But the only issue that I have with that is that this man is 325 pounds. He gets a little bit ahead of himself. I do see him stumble quite a bit. He could work on that balance. He maybe has those Russell Wilson drills where he's sliding side to side, because that's some good balance stuff. But he is an amazing block shedder, something I love about him to death. One of the best block shedders in the class. But as someone of that size, that speed, that frame, you can't get much better than somebody who can also actually get off blocks left, right, and center. So I'm very excited to see what he's going to be able to do, because I think he changed his number to 3. So keep your eye out for him.
So July 31st.
July 30. Oh, God.
3:39 p.m. Broshmo. McKinley Jackson from Texas A&M could be a big riser. He hasn't played more than 389 snaps in any given season, but he is a legit penetrator at 325 pounds.
Yeah, well, guess who put him on? Yeah, I see. Okay, that's fair. 5:39 p.m. Yep. 3:39. But I did talk about Tyler Guyton next.
Yeah, I know. We were kind of like throwing some guys around. But I agree, dude. He was a surprise watch for me. Like, my big critiques with him was I don't know. Do you think he's 325?
No.
Okay.
He doesn't play like it. He plays like he's 310.
I know, right? I was looking at it, I was like, is he? How do you feel about his anchor? I thought he did solid enough. Like, I thought he was good.
I think he gets moved too easily in the run game. That's my big issue with him. He did get moved quite a bit. I gave him a C grade on impact at the line of scrimmage, but that's not just from his pass rushing. A lot of it was because he couldn't really dominate in the run, and he looked more for the gap penetration than just the dominance over the guy in front of him.
Okay. I feel you. That's kind of where I had.
He had a pretty high missed tackle rate, though.
I think it's the defensive 17%. Interior. They are going to have high missed tackle rates.
That's fair. Yeah. Some guys don't, but like it's very rare. But we do have some guys who Jesus Christ, my Lord, we have some guys who end up doing a really good job. Sponsor of my show, Oli Pop, being featured loud and clear.
All right, well, I'm going to go to my number 5. I know you. I'm pretty confident you have him higher. It's Rook.
He's 4.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know you liked him a ton, like last year, before he decided to return. So it's Rook. I didn't write down the pronunciation, which is something I need to be better about. Or I know it's like roar, like it kind of goes on
Yeah.
for a syllable longer than you expect it to.
Yep.
But regardless, 3-star recruit from the 2019 class. Fun fact, he was initially born in Nigeria, moved to the U.S. when he was 9 years old. So cool.
Nice.
Primarily played basketball, didn't play football till his junior year of high school. He also wrestled in high school. But he kind of bursted out on the scene in 2021. Looked really good last year as well. Just dude, stupid explosive. Like coming in at 6'4", sub 300, but so you better be explosive. But he is. That's the best part. He is a good athlete for the position. He knows how to get skinny and shoot gaps. There are times where he like, I think there was like a few highlight reels where it was just like him meeting the running back in the backfield, like immediately. Super powerful hands. Like he could really stun guys on first contact. I think despite being that 6'4", he does a good job of sinking his hips and kind of maintaining that leverage. So you like to see that. He's been used all over the defensive line for Clemson. Knows he's played out on the edge. So a guy that can play multiple positions, or at least has played multiple positions, not to say that he should. Some of the things I wrote as cons for him was his hands can be a bit inconsistent. Like it just feels like he needs polish in that area. Like it just didn't feel like there was a plan with his hands. He was just kind of throwing them for the sake of throwing him. And his anchor in the run game kind of comes and goes. Like if he's not told to like, hey, yo, go and get after it, then there are times that he will get too tall in the run game and try looking and seeing what's going on behind the line of scrimmage or in the backfield and just kind of get worked back. Because, I mean, you're standing up at that point. You have ceded the high ground, so to speak.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
Like all in all, man, like he's been super productive. He's really good. You could talk my ear off about him.
Yeah, no, I don't really have much more to say about Rook. I feel like he's just kind of a jack of all trades, not really a master of anything except for being really athletic for his size. But I feel like a team that likes somebody who can play the edge at a very large size, but maybe if they want to specialize him, they could even make him drop a little bit. That'd be very interesting. I would love to test out that because he is actually athletic enough to get around the edge. Maybe not enough bend, but he's still just a fun player to watch. He literally graded out B in almost every single category I had, except athleticism and versatility, which he got obviously higher than that. But fun player to watch for sure. And, you know, he's been able to prove it on the field, and he's dropped my opinions of other Clemson interior defensive linemen. So got to give him love where love's due.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Brazil.
Exactly. Also Tyler Davis.
Oh, you like Davis though.
I did until I watched him after watching good interior defensive linemen. But who is your number 4? Because, I mean, just talked about 5 and 4.
Oh, man. I have Chris Jenkins. Me and you were talking about this prior to recording, that kind of a big stickler for us was the size, because he's listed at 280, but he's reported at what?
305.
305. And that's
self-reported.
That's kind of huge. So if the name sounds familiar, his dad, which surprisingly wasn't his dad like 335, Christian Jenkins?
I don't know.
He was a big boy.
I'm not sure.
But he was an all-pro defensive tackle, mainly, I think, for the Panthers. So he's got that lineage. He's got that pedigree. Last year was his first full year as a full-time starter, and I think the dude's really disciplined. Like, I think for when he was playing at 285, like, he didn't really feel like it power-wise. Like, he packs a lot of punch in that body, a lot of strength. I think he's got good footwork. I think he can anchor well, and he can recover well if he does kind of like get knocked back a little bit. Like it just feels like he's always alive in the play, right? Like he is going to be somewhere around the football, plays with the big motor, strong core, very good balance. You're not going to knock this guy off his feet.
Yeah.
And I think he plays with heavy hands, and I actually like the hand usage. But when we get to the cons, like a big one was for me, it was like, okay, at 285, like,
are you going to be
Yeah,
You're
that
right.
the power is gonna look a lot different in the NFL. Like, okay,
Mhm.
cool, you're tossing all these kids around, but it's different when they're grown men in the NFL.
Yeah,
So him getting up to that weight's kind of huge. Like,
it is.
yeah, the whole strength profile thing is kind of a big part of the NFL evaluation for those defensive interior players. And on top of that, he just needs to be a better pass rusher. 9% win rate
Mhm.
last year. Uh,
Yeah.
I hope that gets better. I expect that to get better because
Mhm.
he's got the athletic ability to
Yeah.
make that look better. I think he's right now probably a more put together prospect technically than Mozzie Smith. Again, we kind of talked
Yeah.
about that prior. But
Mhm.
anything you want to say about Mr. Jenkins Jr.?
Jenkins is going to actually end up graded as my number one interior defensive lineman. When I was telling you there was a three-way tie for one, that's before I boosted his versatility because of the fact that he was 285. I know it's statistically 9% is not great at all for pass rush win rate, but when I actually watched him play, he, just like you were talking about, used all the right form, used the right heavy hands. I feel like his translation to the NFL is actually going to be more productive than in college. I don't know why it was 9%, but he knows how to get off blocks. He knows how to push a lineman. And he now hopefully maintains his athleticism at that 305-pound frame. So I'll leave him as my number three just because God only knows if he's going to end up dropping in athleticism when you put on 20 to 25 pounds. Kind of bound to do that. So a little bit worried about that for sure, but has shown the ability to get off blocks. He can do hand fighting. I really fell in love with Chris Jenkins. So that was also my number three player, but I believe we have a similar rest of our board. So I'll just hop into my two because this is a guy who I've been rooting on for a significant period of time. Jer'Zhan Johnny Newton out of Illinois. This guy is, just like we were talking about, a hand fighting technician. This guy, you cannot maintain control of him in a block. My big issue with Johnny is that actually I don't feel like he pushes the pocket very well. He is sub 300, listed at 6'2", 295 pounds. But this dude is an absolute pressure machine. He was one of the top in terms of overall pressures last year, I believe, out of all positions.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, he was like almost top of the top. Week after week, he continued getting top numbers. But the thing that I remember the first time I watched him was with you, and we were watching that Wisconsin
The
game. And it was like,
Predator,
what?
dude.
Dude, ridiculous. Oh, yeah. He had his little
I
airbag.
love
And
the Predator locks, dude. Lonnie Phelps had
I love it.
those.
Yep. It's gorgeous, but just seeing Johnny Newton run in a straight line, this guy picks up speed that he should not near 300 pounds. And I honestly thought that it might have been just that Wisconsin game, but the more I watched other games, you could see this dude accelerating after his initial launch. I think his get off's pretty poor, but he shows really good acceleration in a straight line. So overall, really good athlete, and the production's there. You get to see guys do not keep their hands on him, and he is actually a pretty good gap penetrator at 295. So big potential, but that size is a little bit concerning given the fact that he's not really punchy off the snap.
Yeah, I have him at 2 as well, and I
Yeah.
think also I put here that he might have subideal length as well, but I mean, like, I don't think at that size, like, I don't think he's going to be versatile. Like, especially if like there's going to be questions about the strength profile. Like, you're kind of like you're a penetrating 3 tech only.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you are. So
It
yeah,
is a little bit worrisome. It
yes,
is not big enough to be over the nose, not enforceable enough to be in the run game by pushing, especially in wide zones. I don't really fully trust him yet, but he does have the strength, just hasn't fully applied it yet.
yeah. I have my number 3 here
Yeah.
still since Johnny was my 2.
Number two. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Hall at Ohio State coming in at 6'2", 292. Hasn't been a full-time star yet because I mean it's Ohio State, man. They're stacked with talent, so he
Everywhere.
was included in the rotation there. And I mean, yeah, another guy that's kind of that sub 300, so little concern there. I don't think he's got ideal arm length. He's kind of more of this compact builds. So you're going to kind of worry about, can this guy take on double teams? Probably not. Like when he did, I kind of noticed like if he can't roll out of it, then he's just kind of like he's donezo funzo. And I mean, we'll get more of a bigger like sample size of him this year. He's probably going to be the full-time starter, but I think he's got a very powerful build with just how compact he is, and he pinballs off of contact. And it's not like, it's because he's getting tossed around because like he's so small. It's not that. It's like him literally like kind of like it's like a ninja jumping from wall to wall. That's kind of how I felt it was. It's a weird comparison, but it is what it is. He's got powerful hands. Saw a lot of good like chop blocks and just him being able to like deroot guys much bigger than him. So you love to see that. And like all in all, man, I think it's an impressive power profile. Like he may be a smaller guy, but I at that size, with the ability to be able to be that compact, and if you can maintain low leverage, that's just tough to deal with on the interior. And if you just kind of hit him with that like speed to power, then it's great. And I think he's got a good, really big motor, good closing speed, good change of direction. Like he's just a really good athlete.
I didn't share the same enthusiasm, but I thought that his use of length arguably was one of the best in the class. So got to give him credit where credit is due. He does know how to use his body to its maximum capabilities. And, he does have a lot of talent. You don't actually get any reps on Ohio State if you don't earn them. So definitely the talent's there. And he at least is very self-aware of how to use his body, but I'm not fully sold on him. And, that's why we have this season coming up.
Yeah.
But
I think if he produces this year, for me, I'm gonna get the Kalijah Cansey feel. I didn't
see that explosiveness.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see the explosiveness, but I think he's a lot more powerful than Cansey.
Yeah, but to be fair, no one wanted Cansey for explosiveness. They just wanted him because he was a crazy gap penetrator.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. He would jump through the gap before the snap was to the quarterback. That guy was.
See, and that's the thing. If you're gonna be undersized, man, production's gotta look like that.
Yeah. But
we share We share number one.
We do.
Okay, Leonard I wasn't Taylor. Positive of that since you were like, I have three guys kind of tied for first.
Well, I have three guys tied for first, but that's just because I ended up feeling kind of weird about someone being 6'2", 295, and me giving them a C for their frame or like a 3 out of 5. So I was like, all right, I'll give them a 3 point. Like rather than 3.5, I give him a 3.75. That was just minute for my own grading scale. But Leonard Taylor, regardless, he is the best player on the field when he's out there amongst really damn good players. The thing is, he's just not always out there. And I think it could be down to conditioning. We've discussed it. It could be coaching. But even in this image that I have of him,
the first thing I'm going to go to is like, how the coaching sucks.
You're the coach. I mean, to be fair, you have a very valid point there. In the picture I see, he does actually kind of have a little bit of a gut. And does that mean anything? No. I mean, to be fair, Jer'Zhan Newton, my one picture of him, this guy has a massive gut. Does not mean that it is the end all be all. I'm just saying it could potentially be.
I mean,
it could. There's a
carrying 300 pounds. I mean,
exactly. Like, I mean, I'm looking at a picture of Rook, to be fair, and this guy pretty much has a 6-pack at 295. So maybe I'm comparing him to really tough company. But like when I start worrying about conditioning and then I see that, then I start believing that might be a problem, because he doesn't have the biggest arms in the world. I'm looking at him right now. It's not like he has Chris Jenkins looks like he has, bodybuilder size arms.
Doesn't he look? He looks like a linebacker.
It's huge. He looks freaking like Chris Jenkins.
No,
or
Leonard Taylor. I think he looks like an edge rusher, and he moves like a linebacker. Oh, okay.
Yes.
3-4 end. Like split the difference.
Yeah, we'll just say that he's an edge, like an outside linebacker. But what I fell in love with him about is, one, he's super productive as a pass rusher when he's on the field. But I think the thing that was best about him, just like what I mentioned with guys like Jer'Zhan Newton as well as Chris Jenkins, it's their ability to get off blocks. These guys are. It's one of the things I'd love to see in my offensive linemen, control. These guys are the ones who are controlling the situation between them, the engagement between them and an offensive lineman. They're trying to reach out, then Leonard Taylor's going to swat those arms down, or he's going to get his hands under your pads. Perfect leverage. I love what I see because 305, he's not significantly larger than many of the guys we've talked about before, but he's still able to push the pocket a lot better than even guys like Jer'Zhan Newton. Now, I didn't see incredible get off at points. I feel like he could remain better leverage and actually get a better first step. But I gave him a poor grade in athleticism because I kind of projected him having some form of conditioning issue. But overall, this guy is an absolute freak show. And when and if he gets to once he's conditioned properly, he's on a good squad, i.e. the Seattle Seahawks could definitely use someone like this. This guy could be a big name, and a lot of people could be wanting to buy this guy's jersey.
Yeah, dude's a former 5-star recruit. So, like...
Yeah. Everybody is the U, to be fair.
Couldn't tell by the record. Oh, man. But
coaching.
Yeah. He had a 19.5 pass rush win rate last season, which was the top among interior players. Like, when on the field, this guy was getting after it really, really well. I think he plays with super powerful hands. Like, he always looks like he's in control of the rep.
There you go,
man. And I don't know about the get off. Like, I felt like some plays when he busted through, like he looked like he had some nasty closing speed. Maybe that's just me, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm more consistency than anything, to be fair. So I mean, I wouldn't be talking about this guy as my number one if I didn't believe that.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we're kind of nitpicking here at number one. Like
that's because he's the number one.
Yeah. I got him as a top 10 guy in this class. So anyone you want to talk to, talk to. A lot of people I want to talk to. Anyone you want to talk about that didn't make the top 5 for us?
Since I spoiled the number one, I'll let you go first. But I would say there's like 3 names I really want to talk about.
Yeah, I can figure it out. I can motion. Well, I mean, I got some tweeners too, so it's like
you can talk about Akeem. Stick to the U.
Nah, I ain't gonna talk about Akeem. You know what? I'll make this one short, sweet. I will talk about one of my tweeners, Mason Smith, at LSU, because he played edge his freshman year, but like he's 6'6", 310. Like.
He's such a beast, too.
Come on. This dude ain't going to play edge consistently. Another guy that's a former 5-star. Did play last year because he tore his ACL throwing his fist in the air after celebrated. Which, man, people could like joke on. Like, come on. That's such a normal and tame celebration. Just, and then you come down wrong. Like,
yeah. I mean, didn't Reggie Bush end up doing that, celebrating in like the back of the end zone during a practice? I remember he had jumped into one of the pads and then he just tore his ACL. I remember that vividly. I don't know if it was him or somebody else that did it for the Niners, but I just remember that. But yeah, Mason Smith is one of those guys that he actually wasn't one of the 3, if I included him before, just because I am not going to grade somebody from 2021.
His freshman season where he played almost exclusively edge.
Yes. And since he got an ACL tear, I don't know the type of player he is going to be.
Yeah, so I mean, prior to, he was a freak athlete, like huge frame, and it just seems like, okay, he's a great athlete. Oh man, and he plays strong. Oh, that's kind of sick. Like some of the stuff you saw his freshman year, which you would expect from a freshman, is like he would work himself out of the play. Just kind of too busy with trying to win the rep rather than know what's going on in the backfield. You just kind of felt like he was playing a bit out of control at times, but like in terms of like just physical and athletic traits, wazoo.
So I don't know where you have this guy in your rankings, but he's my number 7, and for some reason, I just wish he was my number 1. T'Vondre Sweat out of UT. I mean, 6'4", 355. He uses leverage to his advantage better than anybody that I've probably ever seen. His get off for a 355-pound man is like he's 315, which is not like he's Kalijah Cansey get off, but he moves very, very well for his size. My big issue with him was that when he was squared up with an offensive lineman, he didn't have the push of a 355-pound man. It was more of that like 310, 305-pound dude. But the moment there is a little bit of the shoulders are off, you will see this guy bolt right through. And I had plenty of WTFs in my scouting report because this guy would make moves that I would never expect for a man of that size. Great arm length, great push when he has the leverage. And, he's another guy who has awkwardly a ton of versatility, even at 355. I'd trust him on the goal line, even as an edge, if you want to potentially stop some power runs. He's somebody who I fell in love with, and I really hope he gets a shot at a really fun position with a really good mentor.
Yeah, I feel like we've kind of been waiting for the breakout year from him for a while.
Yeah.
He was fine. I felt like he was probably at his most balanced, if that makes sense. At his, in terms of just doing everything well, he was at his best last season. But even then, I didn't think I'm not looking at this guy like, oh yeah, he's this penetrator as a nose tackle. But I mean, at that size, you're not going to be. So
yeah, he was surprising to me for sure. But I felt it was interesting. I might have fallen in love with him maybe more than I should have, because you have big ass Keandre Coburn, who doesn't have the athleticism or the finesse. And then you have Moro Jomo, who is going to be the exact opposite. He doesn't have the size, but he has all of that finesse and those movement skills. So he was kind of that sweet spot in the middle for me. And again, it's just somebody who uses his length really well. And I love seeing defensive tackles being able to just control that engagement and, be able to win reps with their length, because a lot of guys just want to use just speed and they just want to push. And you have to control with your arms too. And he does that very well. So excited to see if he takes a big step up.
Oh yeah. Guy I'm going to talk about is Nazir Stackhouse out of Georgia. I see your face there. And I think a lot of what your face is saying is he's kind of been the can opener. And I love using this terminology. He doesn't really have anything drawn up to where he is the main course. He is a lot of times, okay, well, it's Georgia. You're going to be playing run contain a lot. But when they are telling their guys to go after it, it's designed to take pressure off of guys like Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter. He is 6'3", 320 pounds, and I think he's a better than you'd expect athlete. When they did tell him to go and get after it, I was like, oh man, he's actually kind of nimble for a guy that big. That ain't bad. And I think he was one of the more well put together in terms of what he does in the run. I think he was very solid not blocker, defender. I think he displayed powerful hands. I didn't really see him get moved. It's just, you're going to look at this cat okay, well, what does he do as a pass rusher? And it's just he's never really been asked to be the guy. I don't know if they'll ask him to do that this year, but I think he is someone you can almost plug and play and you'll be fine. He might not be your guy. Kind of a couple of years ago, we had Fedarian Mathis, where you looked at him and it's okay, is he going to be a starter in the NFL? Probably not, but he's going to be someone that can be a starter for a lot of squads, or he's going to be depth that you're very thankful to have. So I wanted to mention Stackhouse. I don't think he's a guy that just stands out just because of simply who he's around and what he's asked to do.
See, in my scouting report, I actually wrote verbatim, he is clearly the worst player on the field. And something that he plays patty cake at the line of scrimmage. He does not push the pocket whatsoever. His missed tackle percentage, I think, is close into the 20 to 25% range.
18.4%. But again, we kind of mentioned these defensive interiors are going to have higher than.
Yeah. But I mean, there are plenty of guys who will be having 10% and lower. The guys who we were talking about, for example, earlier, all had better missed tackle percentages than that. I think his best strength. Yes. I think his best strengths are that he actually processes the field pretty well, and he does understand how to get off blocks. But I really don't think he knows how to push the pocket. He's a poor tackler. To me, something that I don't know if you see this, but every single rep, he's the last guy to get in his stance. He's always the last to get ready. And that bothers me a lot because I don't know. It's just something that might strike me as a motor concern when I don't see a 320-pound man push a pocket or get in his stance on time. Now, that's a bold claim, but just something that really rubbed me the wrong way. So he is my second to worst graded interior defensive lineman personally.
Dang.
But I really don't like him at all. I don't think he should be drafted.
Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah,
I wouldn't say that. Ooh.
But somebody who has a similar frame that kind of does everything that you're talking about is Dante Corleone.
The Cincinnati guy. See,
he has some god tier reps, and it's always like the first rep of the game. This dude knows how to drive a dude back, but it's just so inconsistent, and he doesn't get off he doesn't have that good first step at all. It's the most annoying thing because when this guy is going in a straight line, and unlike Tavondre Sweat, so if you combine him and Tavondre, I feel like you're going to get like the perfect interior defensive lineman pass rusher in terms of push. Like if they're square up, game over. Dante's going to drive their ass back. He did it multiple times, multiple games. And he actually has, I believe, a 7% or lower missed tackle rate. Because I have it as a B+. I'm just looking at the letter grades. 4.3, even better. 4.3% missed tackle rate. So very strong. And he actually graded out as one of the best block shedders in the class. He knows how to get off a block when he wants to. I think his biggest issue is knowing where the ball is. I have him even graded lower than Nazir Stackhouse. So, there you go. Nazir is a better processor of the field. But Dante, not the best athlete, which limits him overall. But I do think when he wants to push a guy or get off a guy, he is going to. And I just hope that he maintains the proper leverage and that he actually learns to just go. That's all you need to do.
Yeah. Another problem I had, like, not with him, but it's just like, again, playing in Cincinnati, you're always going to be like, oh, level of competition, group of 5. And the only, like, I think last season, the only 2 Power 5 schools they played was Indiana, where he annihilated Indiana. But then Arkansas, which kind of is a problem because it was the opener and it was his first collegiate game ever.
Yep.
And Bo Limmer had a field day, like, and treated him like, oh, this is your first game on the collegiate level. All right.
Yep.
Like, and that just felt so unfair. But it's like those are the only 2 Power 5 like
I know
opponents you could pull from. So it was a little frustrating, but I don't know. They're in the Big 12 this year, so we'll see.
We'll see what happens. I got to see Dante face SMU in person as well, and he did make play after play after play. So SMU makes some. We have good linemen. We have
I remember there was some guy had his UDFA, which that's not a knock. I mean,
but there's guys.
You're from a group of 5 school and you're on a freaking draft prospect list. That kind of means something. Yeah.
So we have some guys. At least he's not playing against pure scrubs. But I mean, when we talk about guys like is Dante a senior yet?
No. I don't think so. He's a redshirt sophomore.
So I probably will expect him to go back to school, to be honest.
Or maybe he transfers to Wisconsin.
Get out of here.
Dude, they produced Benton this past year.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Benton, what I really want to see is him in a Senior Bowl practice. Like, I feel like that's so valuable. For these smaller school guys where they're not exactly facing the best of the best competition daily, it's like, I really want to see how you do. And don't really get that pleasure with them.
Yeah. Any other guys you think you want to talk about, or?
I'll let you talk about Tyleik.
Oh, yeah. We didn't really mention Tyleik.
Yeah, we didn't mention him.
All right, yeah, we'll talk a little bit. Former 4-star recruit at the 2021 recruiting class out of Ohio State. He is listed at 6'3", 315. Is he listed
320, I think.
Okay.
He's listed 320 on ESPN now.
We'll find out someday. He's
Someday.
3-something. He was a rotation player, but he saw a significant role in that, like 251 snaps as a rotation player at Ohio State is definitely something to take notice of. Now he'll get a bigger piece of the pie this season, but I think he's got decent enough get off for being a bigger boy, and that kind of comes from him, well, formerly being a smaller boy. Coming in, I think he entered the program at like 295. He penetrates gaps with a good initial burst. I think he's got quick feet when engaged in engagement. I love guys that just keep churning their feet through contact. I think that's a good sign regardless of position. So he does that. Keeps a good pad level, does a good job of maintaining leverage. He is hard to move off the spot because of a strong core, plays with good balance. Disciplined run defender, has length to reach and tear down defenders, or blockers, excuse me. I did say not a sudden athlete. There are times where he kind of gets neutralized by just maybe like a cut block or whatnot. Pursuit speed, it's fine. It's fine for his size. I said I wish he was more violent with his hands, but I don't know. We'll see, man. Because we were talking about, we don't know exactly what the size would be with him this year and how much of that. Because like he is a really good athlete at that size, but like how much of that will he retain? Put it on weight.
It's true. Yeah. So for me, I had Tyleik probably higher. I had him at 8, but I think my biggest issues with him were, one, I had the same issue with Michael Hall. Their on-field processing, the whole entire Ohio State defense, for that matter, they don't really fully understand where the ball is. I feel like that's why Georgia honestly chewed them up more than they should. There's a lot of times where they go right and the ball has already gone left a second ago, and it takes them a while to get there. For me, that's one of my big no-nos for defensive interiors. That's why I didn't like Perrion Winfrey that much.
What I mean, no-nos. Dude, Perrion, is he even on the Browns anymore?
I don't know, but Perrion's a perfect example of someone who's an elite pass rusher who had no idea where the hell the ball was. So Tyleik, a lot of defensive interiors share this, but even guys like Jack Sawyer got an F in his football IQ because this guy literally, there's the ball being changed out in front of him. He does not process where the hell the ball is going until after the ball's past him. Tyleik's not that bad, but he's pretty close to it. But this guy is a freak show. He does know how to use. He's good with his athleticism overall for his size. I think that he's one of the more athletic guys. I feel like you don't give him enough credit for it personally, but he's a fun athlete.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I'm when I say it's like I don't think it's elite. It's like I'm saying, it's probably not first round worthy.
I have him as his top 64 guy as well, so that's where I think he's going to go.
Yeah. Side note with Perrion Winfrey.
Yeah.
Because I just looked it up because I was like, I remember hearing him get released. He did get released on July 19th after being investigated for threatening and pulling a gun on a woman in Cleveland. So,
well,
you remember when we were like, man, he had a banger Senior Bowl week and game, and we were like, push this guy up boards.
I know. That's what I was talking about. I was like, my one issue with him is that this guy is a dumbass on the field. Apparently off the field as well.
Yeah.
So RIP to someone who had a lot of potential as a pass rusher, but didn't really prove it past that. But I think his
fourth, Didn't Winfrey fall to the fourth?
He was the fourth. Yeah, he was like beginning of the fourth.
And I mean, dude, that's like these guys that they get to interview and kind of like figure out the maturity levels. Like, Lee, dude, we see these guys that were high on fall, and a lot of it's because they don't like the maturity level. Yeah.
Yeah. And last thing I'll say about Tyleik, he does not use his length very well at all. He has pretty damn solid sized arms, but I feel like that's one of the main reasons why he doesn't get the correct push or he doesn't have the production. And my notes say this quite a bit, and I'm pretty notorious as this far. We've kind of talked about this multiple times. I'm not a guy who focuses on tools too much if you can't produce. This guy is, I feel
that ain't me.
Yeah, I know it's not you. You're more of a projection guy. That's why we balance each other out, though. And that's why, I don't like Michael Hall, but you could see what he could be, and then it's more of a projection for that. With Tyleik, I felt like he was 10% away from being 50% better, And to me, that's one of the very rare cases where I'm like, I'm going to believe in this guy. But he's still number 8. And that's why I was like, damn, I feel bad about having us have a top 5 battle. Because it's like, I think I would put Tyleik in my top 32 normally because of how much I believe in him. And he's at number 8. So it's not like I'm going to put 8 defensive interiors. I'm not going to have a quarter of my top 32 be defensive interior guys. So,
no, I mean, honestly, this class,
Mm.
I'm not, maybe not top 32. It won't surprise me if we have like 6 or 7 guys in the top 50, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because there's a ton. I think a few guys that I'm like projection wise, like could take a big step up.
Yeah.
I like the JJ. How do you say his last name? I don't
Pigu, I think it's Pigu.
Pagues. Oh, maybe that's how that because okay, yeah.
I think it's Pigu. I'm not sure because usually the S at the UES usually is silent, so it's like Pigu. Who cares?
I got PE-G-EES. That's probably what the Ole Miss website.
Pagees. Oh, I was trying to make it more like fancy and like French. Like peg you.
Please.
Croissant. But we have Pagees. I thought his name was Pigu, but Pagees. Peggies. If you guys played, was that Far Cry 5?
Ah, okay. No, I'm not,
Project at Eden's Gate.
Not a
but
loser.
Yeah, I don't play it anymore, but we'll be adding Madden 24 to the show.
I'm not. Wait,
there's a drop.
You might.
I'm
not.
No, not to this show.
Okay, I was like, I've sworn off Madden. Like, I'll wait for NCAA to come out next year, but I have like Madden. I'm just because I was always a franchise guy, so like. Not that franchise guy, but I was always a franchise guy.
Shout out to Marcus. We love you. Dude, okay, what's your knock on Peggies? Or whatever his name is.
Let's see.
Peggies.
Because I think the defensive interior class was the second group I looked at, like right after quarterback.
So while you're looking it up, I'll say it. I gave him an F and get off in athleticism because my guy, he is just a damn statue. He doesn't do any. I feel like it's the biggest waste of raw talent that I've probably seen in this class. Just doesn't look like he wants to get off the snap. And it's just very unfortunate because he has long arms. He is a freak show when he gets moving. But he doesn't get moving very often. And I feel like the only time he's super effective is when people are in his face, when the play is coming towards him. Not a fan of guys who seem like they're giving up.
So like my knocks on him was like my first sentence is for a former tight end, I expected JJ to be more quick than powerful, but he lacks any real twitchiness. He has moderate pursuit, speed, and burst. So literally the first thing I wrote there.
He's just not athletic. And in the NFL, when quarterbacks throw within 3 seconds, you got to make an impact. And that's why I didn't like Siaki last year. It's not that he was a bad talent. It's just like you're not making an impact within the time an NFL play takes place. Obviously, he's, I believe, in the starting rotation, but he's more of that like space eater. So we'll see how Siaki does. But Peggies, I'm just personally going to write him off. That's how you say it? P-E-G-E-E.
I mean, I'm not one to like
Peggies.
So like joke on someone else's pronunciation or something. I am
we don't even
notoriously bad at that. So
yeah. JJ.
Yeah, for JJ, like I think there's like day 3 potential with him, like early day 3 potential. I said he's actually shown quite a bit of pass rush moves that he's shown like different ways of being able to defeat blocks. Yes. And he just knows how to disengage, which I mean, I think that's pretty darn valuable. And he at 6'2", you're kind of like, you got a little bit of natural leverage there. And those guys are just harder to have to take on. So, I mean, there's some pluses there with him, definitely. And I mean, to be fair, like a guy that was a former tight end that's basically kind of learning the position as he goes. And he didn't arrive at Ole Miss until last season. So
he was an Auburn player.
Auburn, the Tigers.
The Tigers. And then now he's just a sack of meat for Ole Miss.
Well, I mean, hey, Ole Miss have produced some D-line talent. So
they have. I actually gave him a B- in block shed, which is very high. It's higher than most of the guys before him. So I totally agree with you. He knows how to get off a block. It's just like, move. Like, the ball's that way. Like, go. Like, I want to push him. I'm like, just move, bro. Like, doesn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to value more of these guys that can hold ground and take on offensive line, because I'm normally a sucker for athletes, but after watching a lot of Brett Coleman, it's like, man, maybe, I gotta respect these power guys. I like maybe flashy. This flashiness probably ain't always the best. I was like that with like Javon Kinlaw. That was kind of my guy, and I don't need to say more.
Well, I didn't study them back then, so I have a much shorter track record. So it's still a work in progress.
I'd like to think I'm better now.
Fingers crossed that we're better, but time will only tell. That's the worst part about this job, that we have no validation.
We're just getting worse over time.
Yep. We were like way better like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
And now that we're a little bit more confident and know a little bit more, we're just overanalyzing this.
The thing is, we won't even know for 5 years, though, because it's like, guys, there's a long cycle. I mean, hell, even Brandon Graham took 5 years to really start emerging, or 7 years. So
Gino?
It's like, Gino, exactly. It's like,
I really liked Gino coming out of West Virginia, too.
Look at you.
Look at me. Look at me, dude. We got to go back to the days where we develop our quarterbacks, let them sit for the first, I don't know, 1, 2, 10 years.
It worked with Aaron Rodgers for a shorter term. It worked with Gino for a longer. It's
true. And it's going to work with Zach Wilson too. You just wait. Just keep your mom away from him.
Oh no. Keep him away from your mom. That's what you need to do.
Hey, he's a good Mormon boy, apparently. Apparently not.
We already had this conversation.
I know, right? Look at this. Tired football back to theology.
Yeah, we're not doing this conversation on video.
Well, I started us off. You want to go ahead and outro us?
All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. That is the video. You guys have been great supporting our show, of course, letting us grow to over 100 subscribers already. I mean, it's literally been less than a month, which I don't know about you. It took me 7 months to get to 100. So we're doing a pretty damn good job. Thank you again. Let us know who you think should have been on here down below. I know there's probably some Tyler Davis fans. Drop a like, do your thing. Take it easy, y'all.
He's short, stout, and stubby. He's nice.
He is.
Short, stout,
He's okay.
He's okay. He's fine.
You know what else is fine? Taking it easy. Later.
I know. I totally just interrupted you at the outro.
Yeah, I was like,
Tyler Davis. I was like, oh, we could talk about Tyler Davis. Like, no, we're ending the video. What are you talking about?
And I was like, later.
Oh my gosh, this is goofy as hell.
Oh shit. Oh. You start bringing up the Mormons. I'm like, no.
I know. Right?
Let's not talk about religion now. Like, I have my pistol sitting right here, and I'm like wanting to bring it out, and I'm like, this would get us banned on YouTube.
Why did we bring up Zach Wilson and his 30, 40-year-old wives?
I know, and I was just like, you like keep your